Welcome to this presentation, and thank you to be there. So I'm Pascal. I'm the CTO and founder of the company M81. M81 is a French company, and we are editor of system products based on IBM and today I'm going to tell you that it's possible to run the Save21 every day on your production system without to stop your users, or close to without to stop them, or create or refresh a test environment, the test partition, in a few minutes and very quickly, or make several copies of your disk every day. So all those things I'm going to explain you. The agenda today is I will begin with by talking about the backups because that's the best example, and I will show you, explain you the technology that we use and how it works, and I will go through a quick demo of our product, and after that we will go over other use case of this product and this technology to do something else than backups. Okay, first, to have a better bandwidth and better quality, I will remove the camera. You have seen me. You don't need to see me all the time. So don't worry. I'm still there. Just I stop the camera like this. So the quality will be better. You have a chat and the ability to ask questions. I don't see them directly, but the administrator of this application will transfer them to me. So don't worry, don't be afraid to ask questions, and I will answer if I see them or at the end of this presentation. Okay, let's go. So Flash4i, the goal of this product is to integrate the best of the IBM partition and the FlashCopy technology or Snapshot technology, which is available on external storage. Okay, so let's talk about the backups first. In an ideal world, the backups, it's better to have several backups, at least once a day, and if it would be possible, 7 times a day. And during those backups, it's better to have no active jobs, no users, no batch, nothing, just the data. That's what we all would like to do. But it's not possible. Definitely, it's not possible. There are customers using the web. So at any time, there are industry with companies open on 24 hours and 7 days a week, or heavy night jobs, or many other examples. So it's not possible to do the backup without any activity. There are some solutions, existing solutions. The main one, the most used one, is to use HA partition. If you have an HA solution with a second server and replication with a logical replication with Mimix, WikidD, Maxava, Itera, any software like this, then you have a second system with your data, and you can run your backups on this second systems. That's a very good solution. But there are some lacks. First, not all the objects are not replicated. Sometimes, most of the time, some libraries are not replicated, like QGPL, for example. And during the backup, the replication runs, so all the data changed on the production system are copied to the HA system, but you need to hold the apply process. So the data are there, but they are not in the database during the backup. And at the end of the backup, you release the apply process, and all comes back to the normal level. But if you have a crash during the backup, then you have to connect to the HA partition, stop the backup, and reapply all the data, all the changes. And this may be long, so that's not really high availability. That's a middle availability. And it's not possible to do a Save21 because we have 2 separate systems. So if you make a save 21 of the backup system, of the HA system, you don't have the exact image from the production. Another option is to use the save while active. The save while active is also a good option. You still need to stop the users, but just a few minutes. Normally it's 2, 3, 5 minutes. Could be up to 5 to 20 minutes to obtain the synchronization point. That's very important. If you don't wait for this, you don't have stable backups. There's still a risk to have locked objects because you will run the backup and in parallel you will have users working on the systems. And as you have users, there's a risk to have locked objects. So not a very good idea. And it's still not possible to run a save 21 in this condition. So what's another option? The new option, the new solution is to create a clone of your production and to use this clone to do that. For this, we will use a function that is available on almost every external storage. So if you have a Storewise, an IBM Storewise family, or a Flash system, or a SAN, SVC, sorry, or a DS8000, there's a function which is called FlashCopy, and this FlashCopy function allows to create a clone of your disk in 1 or 2 seconds. That's very quick and very easy to use. I will talk to you about this after. It's also possible with other vendors like EMC and on the VMAX or on the Pure Storage or other. In these other words, it's called Snapshot. So if you use one of these external storage, so if you don't have external storage, if you have internal storage, internal disk, it's not possible right now because there's not this functionality, but it's a good way, if you want to use this function, it's a good way to change your hardware and go from internal disk to external storage. So this function in combination with FlashCopy will allow you to have a fully automated option to create a clone, start a backup, get back the history, and transfer the logs, etc. Okay, first part, we will use the FlashCopy or Snapshot function. Again, it's only available on external storage, not with internal disk. What does it do? What is it? It creates an instant copy of your original disk, of your production disk. This is a very, very important point to understand what it does. In 1 second, this function is integrated in the disk array, and in 1 second, you create a copy of your disk. If you have 10 terabytes on your production system, then 1 second later, you have a second set of disk with also 10 terabytes with an exact copy of everything, all the data. And after that second, both sets of disk are totally independent. It means that on the production system, your production runs, your users are working normally, and you can change any data. You can change passwords, you can apply PTS or change the version or whatever you want to do. And on the clone partition, on the clone disk, you have the data as they were at midnight, as they were when you started the FlashCopy. And those disks, you can use them to do something else, to make a backup, to make tests, or to try to change the version or do whatever you want. They are totally independent. Sure, inside the box, it's not possible to copy 10 terabytes in 1 second. So inside the box, there are things, it's not magic. And if you want to have more explanation, just contact us. We can explain you how it works and show you. For this presentation, believe me, it works. 1 second, you copy all your data. This is a function available by the external storage itself. It's totally independent from the server. The IBMI does not know anything about this. That's not its job. Okay, how can you use this snapshot or FlashCopy technology? It's very easy to configure. So you can do it yourself and start it manually. You just click and say start the FlashCopy, and you have your copy. Then you just have to start a new partition with those disks and do whatever you want. You have to start it manually because it has the same name, same IP address, same configuration, and same startup program as the production. So take care when you start it. But when it's started, you can do a save 21 manually, and that's okay. But maybe you don't want to do that every day at 2 a.m. So you can do it automatically. If you do it automatically, you just have to write a few programs, and they are not very hard to write, those programs. You can see that in a few days, you can write all the programs to do that automatically. But you will see that there are some things that you didn't see at the beginning, and the more you will go and the more you will have details to manage and things missing. So the other way is to use it professionally with a program, with a product that does everything, and where we looked at everything inside and everything that can help you, and a product with evolution, with new versions, etc., and support. Okay, I will try to explain you how it works. First, the configuration. Usually, the configurations are like this. You have your production partition, you have two VIOS, you have a SAN with switches, and the external disk here on the storewise, for example. That's a classical configuration. Another possible configuration is only one partition, no VIOS, one or two fiber channel card, and a direct attached to the storewise. That's also a possible configuration. We support both, so you can have one or the other. Now, the detail, how it works. I have my production partition, whatever the configuration behind. So my partition and the disk. When we install the product, the first thing to do is to, install the product here, and then create the definition for the FlashCopy. So that's one step, to do once only. We create this definition. So the disks are empty at this time. There's nothing inside. There's no system to install. That's just a definition. And we create a clone partition. So on the HMC, create the definition and create all the zoning necessary for this. This is the installation. After that, daily, you will want to start the clone partition and run your backups. For this, you will have one command. In fact, you can have several commands, so that's your choice, but at least you can do it very easily with one command. This command is flclone. That's an IBMI command, and this command will do all the job on the production system. You can see that this command has only one parameter, which is the name of an environment. An environment is some construction, something that we created and defined, where you will enter all the information that we need for the rest of the operation. And all the information is the IP address of the storewise, the name of those disks, the IP address of the HMC, the name of the clone partition, the IP address of the future clone partition, because we will give it a new IP address. What kind of operation do you want to do? Run backups, create a test partition or whatever. So there are many parameters. They are all in this definition. And in your CL program or in your scheduler, you only have one command and one name. Everything is in the name. So if you want to change some parameter later, you just have to change in the definition. You don't have to find the 10 or 15 CL programs or schedulers entries that you have to change everything. Just change in one place. So what does that command? First, the command will quiz or flush the memory. You may know that with the single level storage, the IBM can keep in memory many important informations. And this function, this system function, will take everything is active in the memory and copy them to disk. Usually, it's very quick. With any size of the memory, so it's very quickly. And with this, we will have a stable situation on the disk. Everything will be there. When this is done, this command will connect to the storewise and start the flash copy. At this time, the data came here, and at the exact second, at this second, we have a copy of all the data from the production, of all the production, system, Slick, data, programs, everything. And after that, they begin to be independent. So on the production, the users can work again and do whatever they want. This has no effect on this clone disk. So now we can do whatever we want with those disks. This command will connect to the HMC and start the clone partition. When the clone partition will IPL, remember, as those disks are an exact copy of the production, they have the same IP address, they have the same startup program, they have all the same characteristics. We don't want to start a second time the production. So the product will change things. First, we will change the IP address to have another IP address. We will hold the scheduled jobs to make sure there's nothing automatic that will start. We will change or adapt the resources for the tape drives or for the tape libraries. And we will make sure that no subsystems from your applications will start. Nothing. Just the basic one. Just the one we need. Nothing else. Even QSys work will not start. We don't need it. And some other details. So after those changes, the result is that this clone partition is up and running. We have all the data here on the disk as they were at midnight. We also have all the system and everything. We can start whatever we want. For example, a backup. This backup will use your hardware. The one is usually connected to the production. So it could be an LTO drive, an LTO library, or VTL, or any kind. You can make a backup with BRMS or without BRMS. If you don't have, you call it your own program, that's all. Or we can plan to do a Save21, a safe system Save21. And all these are on the clone partition. So it has no effect on the production partition. Your users are working normally, and they place the order, they move the stock, move the warehouse, etc. During the backup, there are logs, and there are a lot of history. During the backup, we will send lots of information, a lot of logs from the clone partition to the production partition. So in real time, on the production partition, you have logs and you know exactly what is being done on the production, how is running the backup. If that's a Save21, you don't have anything, because you don't have anything in real time because it's in restricted mode. But if that's not a Save21, any other kind of backup, you have logs in real time on the production system. Those logs are internal logs. We also send the system logs. At the end of the backup, we send the job log of the job that has run the backup. And for sure, if you use BRMS, we also send back all the history from the BRMS. So at the end, on the production system, you have all the logs that you need, including BRMS logs. And from a BRMS point of view, it's exactly the same as if the backup would have been done on the production itself. We also provide an option to send alerts by email or to a message queue. and we send an email every time there's an error. So you know that there was an error, for example, missing volume on the tape, or not enough CPU to start the clone partition, or whatever you kind of error you could have. And when the status is changing, beginning of the backup, end of the backup, and everything was okay. When it's finished, we stop the clone partition and we stop the FlashCopy. It's finished, back to the normal situation. So this product is totally integrated to the IBM i. All the operations are inside the production partition. You have one command, which is flclone, with only one parameter. And this command can be integrated in your CL, or in your CL program, or in your job scheduler, or everywhere you currently start a backup, you replace the start backup by flclone. And it's a single command, or there are 4 commands also if you want to cut and have a start FlashCopy and start the clone partition 2 hours later, for example. Okay, I will show you a little demo of this. Okay, here it is. This is our demonstration partition. And we have all our products installed there. FlashCopy is there. The first menu shows how to have the feedback. What are the operations, what are the information that you will have to know what happens or what happened. And here are the configuration commands. For beginning, I will go through the configuration menu, here, option 10. I told you about the environment, here it is. But first, we will have to define the storage and the clone partition. There's a part of definition to do on the HMC itself and on the storewise itself. That's the install process, just once. But we have to say to the product where it is. So if I want to define the storage, here I have a list. For most of our customers, there's only one partition. If that's to do one backup, that's one partition. Here we have for test, or you could have several. Some have 2, 3, 4 clone partitions for only one production. So in our case here, we have this one. If I look at this definition, I know that it's a SVC or storewise or flash system. It's the same definition. We need the IP address of the storewise. We need the user profile to connect. We don't need any password because we use SSH and security connection. So we don't need the password. And the name of the disk that we want to copy, the name of the group of disk. That's the only information that we need to do everything. Now we need to define the partitions. So the clone partition. If I look at this, I need information about the HMC, so the IP address of the HMC, and the user of the HMC. Also, we use SSH, so it's a secured connection. And I need to know what is the server and what is the clone partition and its profile. That's all I need. After that, I can define an environment. What is an environment? That's a definition where there's every information that I need. And I will create one definition for daily backup, one definition for weekly backup, one for a full system backup, one for test, and I can define whatever we want. If I have only one, if I have only one partition, I create this one. In our case, we have 2 clone partitions. So we can create 2 separate environments. What is there in this definition? First, the storage and the HMC and the clone partition definition that we created before. Then how do I query the memory? This is the system function that will be used, change ASP act. And if there are independent ASP, I have to write their name here, but it's not necessary. You can see here, There is none. Independent ISP are not necessary. We do a full we do a flash copy of all the disk. Next, what will be the IP address of the clone partition? This is the future IP address of the clone partition. And this is the one from the production, from the original. So some things about the configuration, the IP configuration. And now, what do we want to do on the clone partition? In this example, we want to do a BRMS backup. For a BRMS backup, we need to give the BRMS control group. If I press F4, I have the list of the existing control groups defined in BRMS. So I just have to select the one I want to use. And some other questions. If you don't use BRMS, it's not a problem. You say save, and you give here the name of the program you want to use to run the backup. And then you just have to take your current program with the save library, save DLO, etc. And you run your own save program, backup program. And if you want, it's easier to do a save 21. You can say, I want to do a save 21. And for this, we just need to know what is the tape drive or tape library, what is the volume name or the name of a program that will give us the name of the volume every day, and some other informations. That's all. With this, we can do a real save 21 every day without to lock the production. There are other parameters that I can show you very quickly here, but we have no time in this demonstration to go through all this. Come and see us on our booth, virtual booth for today, or call us to have a more in-depth demo if you want. Okay, now I defined those environments. This is definition. It's to be done once and only once. And after that, daily, I will use the flclone command. And this flclone command, I just have to put the name of the environment. And there I can see all the environment that you have seen before in the definition. I will not start it now because it's a bit, well, it will take two minutes, and we don't have 2 minutes in this demonstration. But I will show you the feedback. You can see several commands. All those, the main command is this one, because we will see everything, and all those are options of this one. So I will only show you this one. The cloning history, what do we see? We see that today at 2 a.m., the environment BRMS day 2 has been started. We can see that yesterday it was BRMS day 1, and alternatively that's the 1 and 2, and there's once a week, there's a weekly backup. So there I have the history of all the backups that have been done every day at 2 a.m. I can see that they are all finished, and FlashCopy means the FlashCopy has been finished. There's no disk anymore for those. And those are still active, and the BRMS backup is finished. Remember, we have 2 separate partitions. That's why there are 2 active. And we have some statistics, some messages that we will see after. And if there are errors, it's written there. So all the time there's 0 error, there's no problem. Everything was right. If there's any error somewhere, you have an error, and then you have to look at. And that's the only point you have to monitor. Everything is there. And beside, you can find statistics. This says that the flclone command takes about 2 minutes. The IPL of the clone partition takes about 20 minutes. And the backup takes about 2 hours. And everything remains active for 2 days. What kind of log do I have? I told you we have logs. We have internal log. This internal log will give us all the details of what has been done by the product. Some messages have been generated on the production system itself, so on this partition itself, and some have been generated on the clone partition. So they have been written on the clone partition and sent in real time to the production. And there we have all the information about BRMS, about your own programs, and all the changes that have been done automatically, etc., with the exact time. So everything happens is there. If there's an error, you can see it there. Information, it's written error in white, so you can see it very easily. We also send back the system log. The system log, the display log command. So the log from the system, and we have there everything from the log. If I look at beginning, okay, you can see there. These are the messages from the IPL on the clone partition. Well, I know the IPL started at 2 hours and 12 minutes this morning, and I have all the information and everything from the IPL. I can see everything, including the messages from the backup, etc. So everything is there on the production system. And also, when the backup is finished, we send two things. The first is the job log of the job that has run the backup. So you can find here everything that has run last night on the clone partition to run the backup. Everything is there. And the second thing is the BRMS history, because that was a BRMS backup. So everything from BRMS is there. And there we can see messages from 2 a.m. this morning with the backup running. So all the history are there on the production. You never have to connect to the console of the clone partition. It's there. Okay, there are many other options and things, but we don't have the time during this demo to show all this. For those who will, this presentation will be in PDF available on the site from the IBM TechU. So you will have this, and you will have some more information that I showed you during the demo, and you will have, for example, some screenshots from the demo. So here they are. You will see them in the PowerPoint. I see some question. Before the Flash can start, the configuration applies that we have to quiz the applications on the source system first. On some of our systems, this is not possible. Okay, before to use the FL clone command, we propose and we advise it's better to have the ability to stop your production, so to make sure there's no one writing on the files. So with this, you will have a good backup and a functionally good backup. Every data, you know, there's nothing being writing on the files. But if you can't, it's possible also, because the FlashCopy can be done at any time. And the quiz, the change ASP command, has one parameter where you can say it does not do anything for the users. So you have a good system, and you can start the FlashCopy and use the FL clone command at any time. Just do it when there's at least not many users, not many activity, very little activity on your system. It's much better. In this case, on the clone partition, you will have technically a good backup. So every data, every files will be there, every object will be there. But functionally, maybe at the exact microsecond where the FlashCopy started, maybe there was one program writing 10 records, there will be only 3 records and not the other one. So functionally, there could be some difference, and it's not exactly a good idea, but it works. And technically, the backup will be okay. Can we use this product to save only the independent ISP? Yes. This product is, well, you will have to flash copy all the disk, sysbus and independent ISP, but it's possible to save whatever you want. So just flash everything and make a backup of your independent ISP on the clone partition. And what about if we have damaged objects? If there are damaged objects on the production system, they still will be damaged on the clone partition. We just copy the disk, so they are damaged also on the clone. And are there damaged objects on the clone partition that were not already damaged on the production? If there was no activity on the production system, there's no risk to have damaged object on the clone. If there is an activity, there's a little risk to have some damaged object if they are exactly written at the exact time of the flash copy. So that's a little risk if there's a big activity on the production. But we don't see that much that kind of issue. Okay, let's go back with the presentation. I told you about the backups because that's the main usage that is done with this product. But we can do many other things. For example, developers can make debug. And usually I have a video, but I removed it here for the bandwidth. When you have developers or debuggers working on the production system, it's exactly like this. You have a truck with someone working on the engine while the truck is rolling, while the truck is on the road. And when you make debug on the production system, it's exactly the same. It's a bit dangerous. So not a good idea. Second example, GDPR. Now it's necessary to have, at least in Europe, to work on anonymized data. You cannot work on real private data for education or for development. So you have to anonymize them, but this is CPU consuming. You need to have the data stables for a while, and it's not always possible. So these are 2 examples where you can use a clone partition to do something else than backups. So remember this schema. We have all our configuration, and we use this partition for backups. After the backup is finished, you can use the same data, the data from midnight, to make queries, SQL, to make tests, to make debug. You have the data from last night, so they are close to current. Or you can use the previous day data to extract data or anonymize everything and put them for any user. And if you want, you can have one clone partition for these functions and another one for other tests or for another purpose. Again, at least one of our customers has 4 clone partition for the same production. So you can have up to 256 clone partitions. You also can have some specific context. For example, most of the time you have one production partition in data center 1 and in data center 2, a replication, hardware replication in remote memory or software replication with one of those, with any replication product. In this case, you can install Flash4i and create a local flash copy, as I explained earlier, or make a remote flash copy. So use the remote disk to create a flash copy and make your backup on those remote disks. So that's also possible. Another way to use it is cascading. For example, with our anonymization process, you have your production partition here. At midnight, you create a first clone, and for example, you make a backup. And when it's done, you start the anonymization process. the anonymization process takes 2 hours or 3 hours. We don't care. And the data don't change. They are just anonymized. So you just change them inside the original files. And when it's done, you can have your developers to test on it. But imagine that you have worked for 2 hours to anonymize everything. And after 10 minutes, the developer will break all the database because the test was going wrong. Then you have to do everything again. Instead of this, you use this working partition to anonymize the data, and you flash it again. So you create another flash copy, and the developer will work on this test partition. If after 10 minutes they break all the database, you just have to delete that partition, restart the flash copy from here, and re-IPL. And you can do that all day and come back with the same data as the one from last night. So that's another example. Okay, some information about this product. I have one question from Luis. Can we save the operating system? Yes, yes. Remember, when we clone the partition, we clone all the disk, and all the disk means everything. So slick, operating system, configuration, users, everything. So you can use a save21, and the save21 includes a savesys. So yes, you can save the operating system. Okay, FlashCopy is a real product with many functions and parameters, and using and managing the FlashCopy is only a very little part of the product. You have seen that we manage the logs, we manage the backups, we manage the change of the configuration. I didn't show you in the presentation, but there's a module, a whole module to change the configuration automatically. And we ask many questions about the relational database name and the IP configuration and the network server configuration, etc. It's very, very, very easy to install. If that's for a test, less than 1 hour is necessary to create a partition. If that's for real, it's a bit longer because there is some education and some parameters for the backup. But the installation for a test is very, very quick. So very easy for anyone. Very easy to use. It's fully automated. And for the upgrades, to have new release or new version, it takes just a few minutes. The program does everything and takes back the data and the configuration. So it's very, very easy. And it's open. There are a lot of places where you can add your own exit programs. And we manage IBM storage and non-IBM storage. And you can do many other things than backup. There's a documentation, there's a hotline and support. There are scheduled versions. The version 4 now is available since January this year. And we added three modules, and many functions. And during the year, even if there's not a new function, a new version, we add new functions and changes, or so you can have evolution quickly. And this product is available and distributed in 17 countries in Europe, and right now 2 customers in USA, and we hope more in the future. And we are in discussion in South America. How do we, the prerequisite for this product, the minimum version is 7.1, and it's the exact same product from 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4. All disk must be external. The version on the Storewise is very old. 7.1 on the Storewise is very old. So it's compatible with all the versions right now on the IBM hardware, and for the versions on the other hardware, just call us. But these are most of the time very old versions also. Additional disk space, that's an important part. If you have 10 terabytes for your production system, we will clone the disk. Remember, it's done in 1 second. And 1 second, it's not possible to copy 10 terabytes. So it's not necessary to have the same volume for the clone partition as for the production partition. Usually, in a period of 24 hours, in one day, you need between 5 and 15% of the original size. So if you have 10 terabytes, you need between 500 gigs and 1.5 terabytes. We say that the maximum is 20%. So if you have 20% more disk space on your storage, on your disk storage, it's okay. Licensing mode, you can have this product in license and maintenance, or kind of traditional way, or in subscription, so rental way. We can help you for the pre-sale. So if you are an end user, an end customer, we can help you. We can make an in-depth demo or make a POC for you, with you. If you are a reseller, we can help you we can teach you and make education for you to well understand this product and to be able to install it by yourself with your customers. So don't hesitate to contact us. So we give you a free license for you to test on your test partitions, and you can use it, and we help you when you have when you install for the first time for your customers. And sure, there's a service that we can do ourselves, or that our partners can do. And if you are a new partner, you can do it by yourself. Currently, we have about 200 customers all around the world. These are a part of them. You probably already know some of those names. And there are from many countries here in France, Spain, Germany, Austria, Belgium, well, many UK, many countries. Okay, here are your contact in our company. You have Bruno, who is a sales manager and responsible for the partners relation. And I in the middle for everything that is technical. We both speak English and French, so don't worry to speak in French with us. And if you prefer to speak German, you have our representative in Austria and Germany, who's Karl Heinz, that will be happy to talk to you. This is finished with this presentation. I will just show you my face again. Hello, I'm still there. So this presentation is finished. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will contact us to have a better demo or to have some other information, and install it on your systems. So if that's okay, bye-bye.